Well, hello, my fabulous friends. This is Heather Picken, high-level mentor to female executives and female visionaries using neuroscience. And today I'm going to talk about the 7 things you need to succeed in creating your fearless year. So maybe 2018 wasn't the best year. Maybe, you feel a little stuck and you're wondering, what is it? What do I really need to prepave in the new year? And so I thought this would be a great video to do today as we are going into 2019. So I actually, and I'm going to post a little picture here after I'm done with this video, but I created a little infographic on the 7 things. Okay, so number 1, you need your big idea, okay? If you want to be a female visionary, you have to have something that is unique to you, part of, your formula, and you need to have it in a way that is definitely aligned with your ideal clients or customers. So one of the things I did, so 2018 for me was really about planting the seeds, developing my big idea. So I have a consulting business, but I thought, I really want to put a product out there. And through my process, one of the things I did was really ask that question, like, what is it that I want to do to put myself out there in a bigger way and really empower women? And so if you didn't know, I created a wine label called Fierce Femme, and I have 2 releases. I'm actually in 2019, I'm going to create some more, but this is my first one. Knowing yourself is like having a superpower. You could actually purchase these if you go to fiercefemme.com. And then the other one I created is my Vote Fierce. I don't have to say anything more about that. But yeah, your big idea. So creating your big idea. And I will have to tell you, creating these wine labels was not easy. It might look easy, but there is a whole methodology behind it. Not to mention, not just the creation process, but also getting things online. The wine industry is very regulated, so you have to make sure everything is set from A to Z. So it's not that I didn't have any challenges, because trust me, I had a lot of challenges putting that all together. And so here's the cool thing. Once you have your big idea, then you can brainstorm. This takes me to point number 2, is your fearless revenue breakthrough. And so this is what you should be doing either now or at least in January. When I sit down and I work with clients, what we do is we break down the revenue into quarters. So what is your projected income that you want to make in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4? Now, your fearless income, that could actually come from, let's say you've got your big idea, but you can have multiple streams of income from just one idea. And so that's actually what I created. I'm not going to share everything that is going to be happening in 2019, but I've aligned myself and created some amazing opportunities because of the big idea. So you can't go out there and put your product or service out there if you don't have step number 1, right? So you want to think about that, and you want to take the time to do that. It might take you a couple weeks, a couple months, but you really want to formulate that idea, and you want to do it in a way that is different than everyone else. So when I'm working with clients, I really dissect, like, what is that formula that makes you unique, and how can we take this and put your big idea out there so that people will really connect with it. Okay, so we got number 1, what is your big idea? Number 2, your fearless revenue breakthrough. Break it down into quarters of your projected income, and then that will be what you want to make for the entire year. Now the second, or I should say the third thing is, now you've got your whole year and you might think, okay, this feels a little overwhelming. How do I navigate around this? Well, this is where you break it down to 90 days. See, your brain likes to take small chunks of information and do it like in a 90-day spurt. And I've tested this theory I over and over again, and I'm telling you, people become overwhelmed when they feel like, wow, I've got this lofty idea, I've got this big idea, but how in the heck do I get this out there. So with my wine label, I broke this down. The first step into 90 days. So the 90-day plan for my wine was first, okay, what am I going to name this, right? That was one of the steps. And then another thing is actually the design. This was actually designing a wine label is not easy. I actually had an amazing designer, but even just collaborating. So I was able to come up with the name and the design of the label, I believe, in that 90-day period. But I had it all mapped out. So that's another thing. It's like you can have your big goal, but if you don't have things mapped out, your brain is going to feel overwhelmed and you're not going to take the action. So you want to make sure that you do that. Then we get to the fourth step. The fourth step, and I will tell you, I've been coaching for over 15 years now. I started out in the fitness industry, and I realized that there was a secret to my clients being successful. And you know what it is? It is getting that accountability. Not just once a month, not just twice a month, but every single week. So, excuse me. So why is that important? Well, it's important, and they've actually done studies on this. If you read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, he mentioned in that book, there was a really interesting statistic. 76.7% of people that get someone to hold them accountable, like a mentor, like myself, are more likely to hit their goals. And I saw this happening in my private consulting practice, that every single week that my clients, we would get together and we map everything out, that they were hitting their goals at a faster rate than if they were to do it by themselves, or who knows, maybe they wouldn't have done it. And so having a mentor is really important to have you take the action every single week. Now, here's another thing you want to think about. If you don't have someone that is holding you accountable, do you realize how easy it is to let things slide? So if something happens in a week, and let's face it, things happen. So the question is, how do you navigate around the challenges? Well, you need someone that is a sounding board that understands how to build a business, like how to navigate around the challenges, to help you to get back on track. I know when I was doing my fitness business years ago, the clients that came in consistently, those were the clients that had the best results, and they had a plan, just like I'm talking about. They had a plan of what they needed to do. Were they perfect? No, sometimes they fell off their plan, but because they kept coming back to me every single week, they were getting results. And that's what I want you to think about when you're creating your fearless year. The other thing is getting ongoing support. And one of the things that I've developed is having a private place where you could, post up your thoughts, post up, hey, this is what I'm working on, or here's where I'm stuck. There is a lot of synergy when you get like-minded people together. So it's really, really important, especially other women that are aligned in having a bigger vision and mission and purpose. Like they want to go out there and they want to do great things. The other thing, the sixth thing is resources, like having the right resources, not crap resources, but resources. Let's just say, for example, if you're a female visionary, you have to go out there and, share your big idea. And how do you do that? Well, one of the ways that you can do that is through speaking, whether you do it on a podcast show, you do it on Facebook Live, you do it on stage. I have been teaching my clients how to present their idea and get paid through just, using their voice. And so some of my resources include that, like how do I really structure a presentation from A to Z and attract my ideal clients or attract opportunities, okay? In my resource library, one of the things I talk about is how to powerfully network with influencers. Now think about it. You are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. Why do you want to hang around people that are at the same playing field, right? You've got to elevate yourself and surround yourself with people that are influencers. They're connected. They can help take your big idea and get it to the right people. And this is really, really critical. Once I started to understand that, I found that I was in alignment with the right people and the right opportunities. And then the last thing is understanding how your brain works. Okay, so this is my specialty, understanding how to, really how highly successful female visionaries are taking their ideas out there in the world and not throwing in the towel. And how do you do that? Well, let me talk about the subconscious mind really quickly. 95% of your beliefs, habits, and behaviors come from your subconscious mind. So when someone is telling me, Heather, I would love to put my big idea out there, but I just can't take the action, or I feel overwhelmed. And so no marketing plan is going to help you to overcome that. Okay. You've got to change that program through your subconscious mind. And so what I've done is I've shown people how to literally change that neuroplasticity of their brain so they're taking action. So again, all the great business plans, marketing funnels are not going to work if you don't understand that piece. And that honestly is the secret sauce of when I'm working with clients, when they're birthing their big idea, I help them to expand their vision beyond what they thought was possible. You have to be able to see yourself as a visionary in order to get your work out there in a bigger way than doing what everyone else is doing. And so I really like to stretch people in ways where they never thought, like, wow, can I really do this? And that's another thing. A lot of times, you might have a big idea, but you might also think, well, who am I to do this? Who am I to do this? And realize that that is a belief, okay? The number one thing that holds female visionaries back, actually anyone, from taking action is fear. Okay, so you've got to identify what that specific fear is, and then you also have to know how to break through that. It's one thing to understand, oh yes, I have a fear of success or fear of failure, but if you don't know how to break through it, you're going to stay stuck in that small level of where you're playing at right now. And so if you want to go to the next level, and it's true what they say, everything you want is outside of your comfort zone. And trust me, I know I'm doing things that are way out of my comfort zone. But when it comes back to step number one, the big vision, like, why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing it to empower millions of women. That is part of my mission and vision. I do want to say one thing about going back to step number one. With your big idea, you have to get clear on your vision. All too often when I have clients come to me, I say, what is your vision? And they're either too generic about it, they're not, they're really not being specific. And I can see, because they're not being specific, that's where they're attracting their chaos. So the clearer you are on your vision, you will feel more inspired to take action, number one. Number two, you will start aligning yourself with the people and resources. I find that this step it's almost like magic. Like, how can this happen? Well, to me, it's all about synchronicity. The clearer you are, the closer you will get to your vision, like really connecting with it. And so a lot of times I find, women, they don't give themselves permission to do something extraordinary on this planet. You know why? Because they're so worried what other people think of them. They're so worried, well, what happens if I fail? Well, I have to tell you, failing is part of the formula to being successful. And I want to give you an example. Sarah Blakely, you probably have heard of her. She is the founder of Spanx. Her business is worth at least $1 billion. She wanted to be a lawyer, but she could not pass the LSATs. And it's funny because I can remember when I went to college, I wanted to apply for fashion design school and I didn't get in. And I thought my life was over. So you have to look at there are kind of the breadcrumb trails that lead to so-called failure, but then you get one step closer to your goal as long as you realize it's part of your formula. And she had challenges starting her business just like everyone else. So again, her vision also was she wanted to empower women with her product. She really wanted women to feel beautiful in her Spanx. And it doesn't matter what product or service you're creating, but she had a big vision. She had a vision for what she wanted to create. So we have to look at examples like Sarah Blakely or J.K. Rowling's. She is one of the most successful authors. Her net worth, I believe, is $1 billion as well. And she came from poverty. She was on welfare. I believe she had 2 kids, and she was really struggling. She was really doubting herself. And if you watch her Harvard commencement address, one of the things that she said is that failure taught me something that I would not learn any other way. So failure taught her something about herself that she would not learn any other way. And that was just so incredibly powerful. So this is why you need to study successful female visionaries that have, they've gone through all of the challenges, and they understand that there is a formula to being successful. And so again, having those 7 steps is so critical to having a great year, having a fearless year. So don't expect to go into 2019 without facing challenges. Don't expect for everything to be easy. You really want to flip the switch in your mind and go after those challenges that are inspiring. And when you do, that's when things will really line up. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how these 7 steps can help you in your business, I have actually created a year-long program called the Fearless Female Visionary Mastermind. So it's a year-long program to work with me. It's not going to be for everyone, but I made it incredibly, just so inexpensive. And part of me is like, oh, do I really want to do that? And the reason why I'm doing it, because when you have a business, there are expenses that you have to incur. And I've seen, and I've charged $10,000 and more for group masterminds before. And I wanted to do something different with this one, because I find that women really need the support right now. And so this is an entire year dedicating yourself every single week to making sure you're taking action and getting the support, developing that big idea, understanding, what it is. And one of the things we're going to do in the new year on January 12th is I'm going to have a 2-hour virtual live retreat. It's going to be going through your fearless revenue, mapping it out for each quarter. So that's going to be really exciting. So anyways, if you want more information, just private message me if you want more information. But we go through those 7 steps. And I've been doing this for a long time to understand what works and what doesn't work. Some of you might have been in masterminds before and say, well, they didn't work. Well, why did they not work? They didn't work because maybe you didn't follow exactly what you were supposed to do, number 1. Number 2, maybe you didn't get the support that you needed. Was the person that was running the group, did they really understand neuroscience? Did they really understand how 95% of your beliefs, actions, and habits are coming from your subconscious mind? And do they understand how to change that? So I find that is critical. Again, you could have a great program that has, all this marketing components and, hey, do Instagram. But if your mind is not aligned to your vision, then forget it. You're not going to take action. And so another thing I want to say about this program is that I'm I think outside of the box. So I'm not going to teach traditional marketing. I'm not going to teach you how to create funnels. Because to me, that's secondary. But what I am going to teach you is how to find that big idea. Maybe you have your big idea already, but really get clear on what you need to be doing for your business, because one size does not fit all. So anyways, after this video, I'm going to post up that graphic so you can kind of get a insight on what this looks like. And if you're interested, again, please connect with me. I already have people signed up for this. I'm really excited to be helping you in the Fearless Year. And stay tuned for more things that are happening with my business that I'm really excited, all because I did this, all because, I understand how this works. So hopefully you have a great year. I'll probably do a few more Facebook Lives before we go into the new year. But until next time, this is Heather Picken. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.